Jim Riesberg. I'm the state representative for House District 50, which is Greeley, East Greeley, everything east of 35th Avenue, the 324 residents in Garden City, and then all of Evans. 3 years ago, I had a unique opportunity to be in the right place at the right time. And I met some folks in the Colorado Bioscience Association and Aaron Silver, who was representing them as a lobbyist. And they were talking to me about something that they wanted to run in the state legislature. I went down to the legislature. I've just finished my 4th year, believing that nanotechnology might be our next industrial revolution. And so the bioscience industry also caught my attention. And since that time, I've been able to work with them and with a number of remarkable scientists here in the state of Colorado and learn a lot about this industry. I don't begin to know a lot about the research that's going on and how they do it. But what I have learned is the importance that this industry has for the state of Colorado, not just for economic development, but also for the quality of life because of the research that's being done. So that year we were able to get $2 million in state matching grants for our research institutions at the proof of concept point. And this was very important, that we had a lot of research that had been done by our research institutions that was kind of sitting on the shelf. They really didn't know what to do with it. They owned the rights to that research, but it was really difficult to get it to the marketplace. And many of the people who might have the power to develop that just needed to run it through a few more series of tests to make sure that it was right for prime time. And so what we said is that's where we want to put some dollars so that we can get that money out of the tech transfer institutes and into the marketplace. Because what we knew is that for each new company that was started, that within the next 10 to 12 years, they would invest about $1.2 billion per project in private money. So that was very important to the state. It's important for a couple of reasons. The first is that it would give the researchers a reason to come to Colorado and stay in Colorado, because many of them were being attracted to universities in other states because of the promise of making good money through their research. The second thing it did, by getting them into Colorado and into our research institutions, it gave them the opportunity to enroll more students. And once those students were enrolled and graduated, by the time we then had some of these companies started, it gave those students a way to get good jobs in a well-paying industry and stay in the state of Colorado and not have to leave the state. The average wage in the bioscience industry in Colorado, of the 400 companies we have now, is $63,000 a year. Those are the types of jobs that we want to have in our communities and the type of people that we want to keep in our communities. The second thing we knew is it would help us retain those researchers who are already here and being wooed away by their other institutions. And the third is that it may attract some new people or re-attract some new people. As you know, Tom Check has now come back to Colorado because of the potential that he sees the state now taking on. So in that first year, we assumed that we would have 3 requests for proposals put out, and between the 3 of those, we would be able to put out this $2 million in state matching grants. Well, the projects that came in, I think, over 47 in that very first request, and were so good that they expended the whole amount of grant money with 19 projects in that first batch, and we canceled the next 2. One of those projects came right here to UNC, several to CSU, several to CU, to National Jewish, and then to the Anschutz Medical Center at Fitzsimmons with CU. And so it's exciting to see what was happening. So the second year, we then went out again and we said, what can we do? And we changed it a little bit. We made it $2.5 million with $500,000 going to biofuels. And we also had that passed, and those proposals are out and are now coming in. This year we were going to go for $3 million, but more toward where we were that first year. And we dropped biofuels out of it because so much is now being done in other areas in that realm, and it wouldn't be necessary. And our early support was from the economic development community, and they came and said, we're creating good paying jobs, and this was the #1 economic development tool. But we kept telling them, we need to broaden that focus because it's not just economic development. We have to talk about the quality of life that we can create for citizens in Colorado because of the products will be developed. And so this year we had a much broader coalition. The governor got on board, and instead of getting $3 million, we ended up with a $26.5 million program for the next 5 years. $5.5 million this year, $4.5 million next year, and then $5.5 million for the next 3 years. And so we really now are putting Colorado on the map as a state that's been stepping forward. The states all around us are putting a great deal more of state money into the programs, but most of them are doing it to attract industry and things. And what we're trying to do is grow the industry that we already have here and those people that are going to stay here. Because another thing that we've seen is as they've grown 5, 6, 7, 10 years, then other companies are coming in and buying them out. And many of those executives do not want to leave the state of Colorado. And so the company is coming in, they're spending millions or billions of dollars buying those companies, taking them someplace else. Those executives are staying here, and now we're creating new markets so that they can stay here and move into new positions and build new companies. So it's really been exciting. One of the things we wrote in that first grant, and we've had in the last 2 measures as well, is that we also recognized a need to get more elementary, junior high, high school, and college students interested in science, math, and engineering. So we didn't want this just to be something that was out there that we could tell them about. So we wrote right into the grant that when you receive one of these grants, one of your responsibilities is to take your research and to take the excitement that you have for what you're doing to the teachers and begin to encourage our teachers in the state of Colorado and share this research, to get into the classrooms and share this research. Let students see it. Let students get excited about math and science and engineering. And so we can begin to develop these students from very young ages and have them pointing toward these careers as they graduate from high school and enter into college. And so that's one of the reasons why you're here today. This is the third of a series of 6 of these types of focus groups that they're having around the state of Colorado now, to get that word out, to invite math and science and engineering teachers to come and learn what's going on in our research institutions in Colorado so that they can take this back and get their students excited. I didn't know how long you wanted me to go, but that's kind of my involvement. And we're now looking at next year. We won't be fighting for money, but we're talking about what are some things we can do next year to keep the legislature aware of what's been happening, to make sure that we keep Colorado right at the forefront of the work that we're doing. We know that we'll have about a 25% turnover in the legislature on it just because of term limits. It might be as high as 30 to 33% next year. So we'll have a lot of work to do to teach the new ones who are just coming into the legislature what we've been building on, and to get them as excited as we are about this industry and about what we in Colorado can do to make Colorado one of the leaders in the bioscience, biotechnology industry. So we thank the Colorado Bioscience Association for putting this together. We thank you for being here, and I'm looking forward to hearing some of this research shared as well.